The gap between the way Islamabad is today and what it can be is enormous. And that gap is not due to any lack of innovation, willingness to work hard, or potential of the citizens of Islamabad. When we create a political structure which empowers the citizens of Pakistan, inshallah you will see Islamabad becoming one of the dynamos of economic growth of Pakistan. If we are going to look at urban cities, urban centers as engines of growth, then they need to be empowered. You cannot have cities which have virtually no financial autonomy, which have no political autonomy, which can become drivers of growth. It is absolutely critical that we devolve power in Pakistan, where really not just the large urban metropolitan centers, but all the way down to the rural areas. Obviously the drivers will be different, the needs will be different, priorities will be different. But we need to empower the citizens of Pakistan, and we need to empower the citizens of Islamabad. Islamabad's dynamics are different from the dynamics of areas nearby, and therefore once we have a political system in place where the citizens of Islamabad are politically, financially, administratively empowered, not only will they be able to deal with the day-to-day problems that people talk about, the fact that there isn't clean drinking water available in this metropolitan capital of Pakistan in the 21st century is a shame. But it's not just these issues. The ability to then position itself as a city, think 25 years from now, where do you want Islamabad to go, focused on the needs of Islamabad and the competitive advantages of Islamabad, and build strategies according to that, and have the financial muscle to be able to back those, to have the political authority to be able to not just design and develop those strategies, but actually go and implement those strategies. That's what you need. You know, if you look at the Tehreek-e-Insaf manifesto, if you look at what we are prioritizing in KPK right now, you will see that creation of institutional reform, creating strong, autonomous, transparent institutions which are focused on service delivery for citizens, which are empowered, which are insulated from political control, and which can then focus on what needs to be done for the welfare of citizens, is one pillar of that reform, and the other pillar of that reform is empowering the local communities. We will take, inshallah ta'ala, another few weeks, and after that you'll see a bill in the parliament in KPK which will bring the kind of grassroots empowerment never before seen in Pakistan. As I said, my first priority is to go, if I go into the National Assembly, is to bring a bill to the table in the National Assembly and work across political parties and try and bring everybody on board to support the idea of empowering the people of Islamabad through a real local government system which brings power down to the grassroots and empowers the citizens of Islamabad. First, obviously, is prioritization. It's how much money you're going to put into education. It's a crying shame that we've actually been cutting the higher education budget. Instead of putting more money in there, instead of producing more world-class scientists, doctors, business administrators, accountants, we are actually cutting down on the funding for those institutions. So one, obviously, is as a prioritization for education. If you look at the economic policy that we presented, the education policy we presented for PTI, we were talking about a 5-fold increase in expenditures for education. So that's obviously resource provision is one part of it. The second, as I said, is you need to be competitive in the global economy. The way you do that is by being integrated with the globe. So the need to connect the higher education system in Islamabad in particular, but also the technical education, vocational education, and I'll come to that later, with the best practices in the world. But at the lower level, obviously, no child in Islamabad. It is an absolute crime. Remember 25A of the Constitution? You cannot leave a child uneducated today. It's a violation of the Constitution. So no child in Islamabad, whether he is in Kachi Abadis, rural areas, wherever, he cannot be left, or she cannot be left behind. Most importantly, she cannot be left behind all of them must be in school. And the last part of the education revamp is there is just not enough focus on vocational and skills provision. I've been the chairman of the Punjab Skill Development Fund, the chairman of the Pakistan Energy and Chemical Skill Development Fund. It is something which is very, very close to my heart. Just to give you an idea of how far behind we lag, countries like Egypt and Turkey have almost 20% of their children in vocational and skills training, because that's what the market demands, that's where the jobs are. In Pakistan, less than 1% of our kids are in there. So that's the third aspect that we need to do, a significant increase. Again, we've got a lot of innovative models. I directly work on them. The best practice in the world we can connect with, and again have the best vocational skill development system in Islamabad. Well, people have been very, very kind, they're very warm, they're very generous. There's a lot of support for PTI as a political party. So most of the people that I run into are committed supporters of the party, of PTI. And I think that's the greatest strength, obviously, that I will have in the election.